If you want to know why rational people do irrational things, then listen to this. What do we do with our human nature? How do we process and handle our own nature as human beings? Look, behavior is the most complex variable in the world. It's by far, unquestioningly, the most complex variable in your world. And not just the behavior of people, but the behavior of a person. Your behavior, the behavior of a teammate, the behavior of a family member, the behavior of a spouse, the behavior of a competitor, the behavior of a politician or a celebrity or an athlete or anyone's. But obviously here and now, while you are listening, your behavior and the behavior of the people in your life. Behavior is infinitely variable and it's wildly unpredictable. Behavior impacts everything it touches, and everything involves human behavior. And what makes behavior so complex? Human nature, our human nature. And while we're not going to right now dig into all of the dynamics that affect human nature, mostly because we still don't understand all of those, and there is some disagreement or differing opinions on what is human nature versus what is nurture, what is natural for us to do and what is learned for us to do. We're not here to have that conversation. We have a human nature, and that human nature influences us, affects us in some complex ways, and often in unpredictable ways. And what I find interesting in human nature, what I appreciate about our human nature, is that our human nature is both the best of us and it's the worst of us. Our human nature is the very thing that causes us to care deeply about someone we have never met, but also to dislike somebody we've never met because they don't look like us, or they look different or unique in some way. There's a human nature side of that. It's the best and the worst of us. It's the cause of our greatest strengths, our perseverance, our resilience, our faith, our belief in things we've never seen, but they're possible. And it's also the worst of us and the weak parts of us. It's our doubt. It's our insecurity. It's our fear of something that has never happened to us, but the vision of it causes us to be paralyzed in fear. It's both in our nature to believe things that we've never seen that are amazing and believe things that we've never seen that will literally destroy our lives in insecurity and in anxiety. Our human nature is what calls us to discipline and to be the best version of ourselves. And our human nature is also what pulls us to default, to be resistant and attached to comfort and not pursue the best version of ourselves. Human nature is both of those things. So what do we do with our human nature? What can you do with your human nature? Well, I think a helpful structure is to think of it in three parts. We can experience it, we can overcome it, and we can exceed it. Now, what do I mean by those three? Well, first, you can experience your human nature. Just be real. Don't judge it. Don't worry about it. Just experience it. It doesn't mean you do exactly what it says, but it also means that you don't judge yourself for something that you feel that feels like a human nature side. You don't judge yourself for having a snap judgment when you see somebody who's not like you and a little fear kicks in, right? We're naturally wired with bias. And so we can experience these things and be real without necessarily acting on them. And then there's other times we can experience that and we can allow ourselves to go down that path and follow it. But the first piece is this: you have a nature. Experience it and be real. And that moves us to the second piece that we can do, and that is we can overcome it. One of the best parts about being a human being, and the fact that this is human nature and not animal nature, is that as humans, we don't have to act on all of the things that we experience inside of us. We can overcome them. So staying in control is the key to overcoming human nature. So if you experience your human nature and you're honest about it and you see it and you're real, it puts you in a better situation. It puts you in a better vantage point to stay in control of it. This is what I mean when I refer to the combination of know yourself and control yourself, self-awareness with self-discipline. Overcome your human nature, which you will need to do, just like me, is to be and stay in control. And then the third part is exceed your human nature. This is, in my mind, the best part of being a human being. And that is that we can not only overcome our human nature to defeat it, but we can rise above our human nature. Now, we don't live permanently risen above our human nature. That's not how we're wired, and that's not, particularly in my opinion, an enjoyable life. It's not real. But we're also capable, and we need to, at times, exceed our human nature. We need to see our human nature and then say, we're better than that. It's in human nature to love and appreciate. It's also in human nature to fear and hate. And in this way, we exceed our human nature. We look and say, yes, it might be in my human nature to fear things that I don't know and hate them because of that and the threat that I feel they might pose to me. But I can not only overcome that, but I can exceed it. I can choose to be a better version than what my nature inclines me to be in the areas where I make that decision. And there is no other living species on earth that has that capacity than us. It's a gift. It's a gift that we are built with. So what do we do with human nature? I think a great starting point is to experience it, to overcome it, and to exceed it, and to know when to do each one of those. And I'm interested in your perspective as well. What do we do with our human nature? Let me know what you think in the comments. Everything is training for something. Do the work.